Hi geographers, welcome to the latest video on the Castle View Geography YouTube channel. Today we're looking at how we can manage climate change, so how we can stop it. What I want you to do for me is to pause the video. I want you to write the title and complete the do now. Thank you. Right, brilliant, well done. Let's just run through the answers. Number 1's global warming, number 2's coral bleaching, number 3 is climate change, number 4 is deforestation, number 5 is a greenhouse gas, number 6 is magnitude, number 7 is selective logging, number 8 is cattle farming, and number 9 is the Thar Desert. So today we're looking at managing climate change with lots of information, so feel free to pause the video, rewind and watch it multiple times. We're going to look at mitigating climate change. That's a key word. Mitigation means to prevent something from taking place. Another key word is adaptation. These are strategies used to adjust people's lives to try to reduce the impact of climate change. Then we've got carbon capture and drought-resistant crops. So if you could pause the video here, write down the key words because we will use them quite a few times throughout the lesson. Thank you. Awesome. Right, so climate change is predicted to have many negative impacts on people around the world and the environment. And there are two ways that we can manage climate change, okay? Mitigation and adaptation. Mitigation strategies reduces the cause of climate change by reducing the concentration of gas in the atmosphere. This means that less climate change will occur, so the effects will be reduced. This could include afforestation, so planting more trees, because trees absorb CO2, less in the atmosphere, so less solar radiation is trapped. It also could include alternative energy supplies, such as using solar, wind or hydroelectricity, because by using renewable energy, we're no longer burning fossil fuels, so less CO2 is released. On the other hand, we have adaptation strategies, and these are ways people are adjusting to the effects of climate change. These strategies accept climate change is happening, and it's just a way, how can we reduce the effect? So this might be knowing, there's a drought happening, so what can we do? Well, we can genetically engineer plants and crops so they can grow in drought conditions. There might be a lack of rainwater during summer months, so governments can introduce hosepipe bans in order to preserve water during this period. Right, just got some statements here. Just want you to pause the video here, just jot down the letter A, B, C or D. Which two statements are true? Brilliant, well done. Let's have a look. We've got B and C. Well done. Another 4 statements I'm going to show you now. 2 of them are true, so pause the video, write down the letters you think are true. Brilliant, well done. Let's have a look. We've got C and B. Well done, guys. So, I'm now just going to talk through some mitigation strategies and how they can reduce climate change. I'll be talking in chains of reason with this means, which means, hopefully, explain how they stop climate change. So, first strategy is alternative energy production. So this could be using wind farms, solar panels to generate electricity. This means less fossil fuels are used, which means less CO2 is released into the atmosphere, therefore less long-wave solar radiation is trapped, reducing global temperatures. Another strategy to mitigate climate change is carbon capture, and this is where coal and gas-fired power stations are fitted with carbon capture within the chimneys. What this does is it captures the carbon dioxide which is going to be released, and it's transported by pipe and then it's stored underground in old oil and gas fields. This means by storing the oil the CO2 underground, less CO2 goes in the atmosphere, so it's thinner, less long-wave solar radiation is trapped, so global temperatures will decrease. Another strategy to mitigate climate change is afforestation. This is because planting trees during photosynthesis, it means carbon dioxide is absorbed, which means there's less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, so less long-wave solar radiation is trapped, therefore reducing global temperatures. And the final strategy is international agreement, and this is where countries around the world cooperate together to reduce their carbon emissions. So in 2016, 195 countries all agreed to limit global warming levels to 2 degrees. They might sign agreements reducing their CO2 emissions again, and by the countries working together to prevent CO2 being released, less long-wave solar radiation will be trapped, and hopefully global temperatures will decrease. So there's a lot of information there. What I need to do is just pause the slides here, write down the numbers 1 to 7, and just pop in the words you believe match up to complete the sentence. Right? You don't need to write the whole thing out, just write 1 to 7. Brilliant, guys. Well done. Unpause here, we're going to go through the answers. So number 1 is energy mix, number 2 is solar panels, number 3 is deep underground, number 4 is atmosphere, number 5 is photosynthesis, number 6 is global cooperation, and number 7 is global warming. Right, so that's mitigation. Now we're going to talk about adaptation. How can we change the way we live so that climate change doesn't impact us as much? So what we've got is we could grow drought-resistant crops. These are genetically modified crops which will grow even when it doesn't rain. This is significant because by allowing the crops to still grow, this means countries will still have a stable food supply, which means the rates of malnutrition will decrease and people will be healthier. Another way we can adapt our houses is by managing water supply. This could be by having water meters in homes. By having a water meter in a house, people monitor and see how much using the water costs them. By doing this, people use less water as they see the economic cost it has, which means by using less water in our homes, it means during times of drought, there's still more water in the store for people to use. Likewise, people might use grey water or rainwater to flush toilets or water their plants. This again means less water is used, which means during drought there's more fresh water available from water stores like reservoirs. And the final way is to build infrastructure. Okay, global sea levels are going to rise by around 82 centimetres by 2100. So an adaptation strategy is to build sea walls. This picture here shows the Thames Barrier in London. So what happens is when the sea levels start to rise, the barrier will close, which means any land behind the barrier will not flood. This means that the impact of flooding on businesses, on houses will reduce, so there is less economic and social impact of climate change on people. Right, so what I want you to do now, guys, is I want you to copy out these little tables. So you've got the knowledge for alternative energy, carbon capture, planting trees, international agreements, and you've got the knowledge for the 3 adaptation strategies. And what I want you to do is just complete the chain of reason. So this means which means. The mitigation ones, how does it stop climate change? The adaptation ones, how does it reduce the effects of climate change? It's only got to be done in note form. I'll do the first one for you. So alternative energy, by using renewable energy, less fossil fuels, releasing less greenhouse gases. Greenhouse effect is reduced, slowing climate change. Right, nice and simple. And the adaptation one, what their crops survive, chance of famine reduced. So I'll leave that there, pause the video there, and crack on explaining all the strategies. Perfect, really well done there. There's quite a lot of work to do, so well done on what you've done so far, guys. Just double check, you might want to pause the video here. Did you get these explanations for the mitigation strategies? And likewise, really well done if you did. Pause the video on the next slide here and double check you've got the same chains of reason for your adaptation strategies. Perfect, well done. So to finish off, I've got one more independent task for you to do, and you're going to use the tables you just made to really help you here. Okay. So your blue zone task is to answer all these questions. Okay, there's 4 questions. What I want you to do is to write out each question for me, bug the question, so box the command word, underline the geography, and then I want you to answer each question. Okay, there's a success criteria for each question, so it tells you whether you need 1 KUU, 2 KUUs, and what you can talk about. There's a list of keywords there for you as well. So pause the video here and crack on with that. Once you have finished, massive well done, what I want you to do is to Make sure if you've done this work as revision, email your teacher, get them to mark it. If you've done this work to catch up from a lesson, please make sure you bring in the work to your next lesson so you can stick it in your book for revision purposes. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and remember to like and subscribe. Cheers.